All right, so imagine we have this hypothetical repo with 3 commits that we cloned, and there's a master branch. And then, of course, we have this remote tracking branch we talked about that says this is the last known spot that we know of for origin/master, the master branch on the origin GitHub repo. Anyway, I do some more work. What happens? If I'm on the master branch, I make new commits. That master pointer updates, just like it always has when we've made branches and worked on branches and made new commits. That branch reference moves. It refers to the latest commit on that branch. So I might have 2 new commits. And you'll see the remote branch reference doesn't update, it doesn't move. That's the point. It stays at the last known spot for origin master. This is just master. Origin master is the master branch on origin, whatever that GitHub repo is. So let's demonstrate this. Let's make, on this animals project, right, I've got my main branch. And again, instead of master, it's main this time. On this main branch, I'll go ahead and make some changes. I'll make a new commit. So we've got this pets file. Here it is. I'll make a change or 2. Why don't I add my 2 childhood cats that are no longer with us? Let's see. We had Monty and Mocha. And then I'll add and commit. So git add pets, git commit -m, add childhood cats. All right. So now we have 2 commits just locally on the main branch. And if I type git status, we'll see something we haven't really looked at or talked about before. This right here. Your branch is ahead of origin/main by 1 commit. In other words, your main branch and origin main were pointing at the exact same thing, just like this, except master. But anyway, your main branch and origin main were pointing to the same commit, but then you made a new commit. And so now you are 1 commit ahead of where origin main left off. That's exactly what it's telling me. So if I do this again, I make another change. We had a tree frog as a kid named George the Frog. What was he? A red-eyed tree frog, I think is what they were called. Really cool looking, but not very friendly pets. Anyway, George the Frog, I'm going to add him. Git add pets, git commit, add George the Frog. All right, so now I type git status once again. Now we see your main branch, which is what I'm on, right, on branch main, is ahead of origin/main by 2 commits now. So in other words, we're at this point where there are now 2 commits that master has since the last known spot of origin master, or in our case, origin main. Anyway, they have diverged, and that's fine. That's totally normal, right? That's the point of this tracking reference, this remote tracking reference, is so that you know how far ahead you are, and it will update when we get new updates from the GitHub repo, right? We can change this. We can go ask to make sure, are there new commits? Am I missing stuff? And this might move somewhere. But anyway, we haven't gotten to that yet. That's where fetching and polling come in. But what I want to show you is that if you wanted to, if you were ahead of origin master or origin main or whatever it is, like we are, we can still take a look at origin master or origin main. We can check it out. So imagine this is our scenario, and we wonder, what did this project look like when I first cloned this repository or when I last got an update from origin? If you want to know, you can check out origin master. So you will go into detached head, just like anytime we've done this before, checking out a commit. Don't panic, don't freak out. So let me show this. I'm going to go back here. We are ahead of origin main by 2 commits. This is what it looks like right now when we have these 2 new commits, right? These are new lines. I type git log, 3 total commits. So if I go back, git checkout, and remember, I can always see that remote tracking branch right there, origin main, git checkout, origin/main. Okay, we're in detached head. You can look around, blah, blah, blah. Here we are. This is what it looked like. This is that reference, that bookmark to origin main. From the last time we communicated with GitHub, this is what we had for the main branch. So I've moved ahead by 2 commits. If I wanted to work from here, just like any time that we've been in detached head, I could make a new branch and start working, or I can undo. I go back to main. If I just wanted, I'm done. I just wanted to poke around and see what it looked like. But this is just to show you really as an illustration of the fact that this is a reference to where we were, where the main branch was last time we communicated with GitHub. And now I can go back just to the actual main branch, git switch main, and this is where we are now, right, on my local machine. So now, of course, if I want these 2 commits that I have that aren't on GitHub, if I want them up on GitHub, it's as simple as pushing them, right? Git push origin master. Nope, origin main. Old habits die hard. There we go. Git push origin main. Refresh. And we see we now have our new commit here. Add George the Frog. I can take a look at pets.txt. Okay, so we have Monty, Mocha, and George the Frog. And if I look at all the commits on this repository, just go back. 3 total commits now. The original one, and then 2 that we just pushed. And now if I type git status, we're no longer 2 commits ahead. It says your branch is up to date with origin main. We just communicated with that GitHub repository, that remote repo called origin. And now our local repo knows what origin main looks like. It has a new version of that pointer, right? It's pointing at the same commit that main is pointing at. But if I make new commits on main, then of course they diverge. So I'll do that one more time. I'm not going to show you anything new. I'm just going to repeat the process. Let's see, another pet that I had as a kid. Oh, my trusty dog Wyatt passed away a couple of years ago. So we'll add him. Git add dot, git commit dash m, add Wyatt, rest in peace. Okay, I type git status, and now I'm ahead of origin main by 1 commit, right? So if I check out origin main, git check out origin /main, we see Wyatt is gone. This is what the file looked like. This is what the repo looked like the last time we communicated with origin, which was just a couple seconds or maybe a minute ago when we pushed. So this is what it looked like. If I go back, which I can also do with git switch dash, we now see that we're ahead of origin main by 1 commit. So now I can push that up too, git push origin main. And when that finishes, we see we're now up to date with origin main. And if I refresh, we should see a 4th commit. There it is. All right, so I'll stop there.